Guys, I never like to refer to ESPN for any type of ranking whatsoever, but I wanted to point to your attention that in 2018, RJ Barrett was the #1 overall recruit in the class, over players like Zion Williamson, who was, according to ESPN, #2. But history hasn't always been so kind to the #1 overall recruit in a recruiting class. For example, Harrison Barnes was the top recruit in 2010, and he had a very suspect NBA career. Jared Sullinger was the #2 recruit in 2010, and he's already out of the league. And then Kyrie Irving, probably the best player out of the entire 2010 recruiting class, was ranked #3. And that's just an example over here. But that's what makes RJ Barrett so polarizing. He has the potential that makes him the #1 overall recruit in the 2018 high school class, and there's a reason why he was drafted #3 overall in the NBA draft. And that's mainly to do with his finesse around the basket. You see, while Zion Williamson was known for, or is known for, his freakishly athletic finishes above the rim, RJ Barrett gets his baskets in a different way. He uses his basketball IQ and his craftiness and finesse to get baskets that he wants, using moves like runners and finger rolls and pivots and fakes effectively in order to get his points. And that's the interesting thing about RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson. They play a very similar brand of basketball, only one's freakishly athletic and one uses craftiness and his basketball IQ. Because both of them don't really have a phenomenal jump shot, and that's something a lot of people tend to misconstrue. RJ Barrett isn't that great of a shooter, and it is something that he could definitely develop, but that's the first misconception I received when I was comparing RJ Barrett to Zion Williamson. If you think that's far-fetched, let's look nowhere further than Zion Williamson's shooting percentage from 3 last year when he was with the Duke Blue Devils. Zion shot for 34% beyond 3. RJ Barrett shot for 31% beyond 3. Now, don't get it twisted, RJ averaged 6 3-point attempts per game. Zion averaged 2 3-point attempts per game. Zion, however, has a greater field goal percentage because he has those really high percentage buckets inside the key, whereas RJ Barrett shoots at a 45% clip. Regardless, we can make an argument that RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson are very similar when it comes to shooting from distance, and even have very similar free throw percentages, with Zion having a 64% free throw percentage and RJ having a 67% free throw percentage. Now, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but I am saying that in terms of their shooting potential, they're very similar. So before we jump into this video, I had to give you that context. So what's going on, guys? Your boy TheFlightMike back again with another video. And I know I asked you guys in a poll whether you wanted to see a video like this on RJ Barrett or Michael Porter Jr. And Michael Porter Jr. did win. However, the Nuggets are playing tonight, and I wanted to get another game session of Michael Porter Jr. in so I could have a bigger sample size of clips to work with so I can make the best video possible on him. Now, really quickly, guys, before we jump into this video, if you see my videos recommended to you frequently and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. That's only if you watch my videos on a consistent basis, because once I hit 500,000 subscribers, I will go full-time on YouTube. I'm currently operating and uploading at a pace where I am full-time, but that's going to end in 2 weeks. I start school, I'm going to be a student, and I am working on a way to keep up my same level of production. But once I hit 500,000, I will defer nursing school and go full-time on YouTube again. And if you aren't subscribed, please hit that sub button. On top of that, guys, we're 500 Instagram followers away from finally doing this giveaway for a pair of Off-White Air Jordan 1s. So if you aren't following me on Instagram, it's at TheFlightMike. I actually have a preview of my next video. It's a very special video that I've been working on for months up on Instagram. You're gonna see it tomorrow. It's called The Rise and Fall of Big Baller Brand. I'm excited for you guys to see it. Finally, huge shout out to my 2 Patreon patrons. We got a new one. Shout out to Grant and shout out to IC Jalen Brown Twitter. If you guys want to support me on Patreon, all the money goes towards me upping the quality of my content, guys, hiring the best editors, doing the best research. A link to that's in the description down below. And if you don't want to support me financially, then support me just by hitting the notification bell, because I would rather you hit the notification bell, then give me any money whatsoever. Now let's take flight, ladies and gentlemen, because in this very first clip, I'm going to praise something that a lot of analysts will not praise RJ Barrett for, and that's his craftiness when it comes to moving around without the ball. Now this is especially important if you're not that good of a three-point shooter, and I anticipate for the first couple of years of RJ's career, he's not exactly going to be threatening his defenders with his ability to shoot it from three. So he's able to cut to the basket and get himself a slightly difficult but manageable layup to start out the game. Now the fact that RJ's drives command respect will open up a ton of playmaking opportunities for him, and in this instance he is able to make the right play, finding a wide open Elfrid Payton for three, which, by the way, I must admit, I was not aware Elfrid Payton could hit threes. So if you're worried about RJ Barrett's ability to continue to develop his jump shot, look no further than Elfrid Payton, who was not able to shoot the three as a rookie on the Orlando Magic. So I have to admit, at first I was not sold on RJ Barrett's finishing ability in the NBA. I felt like he would be able to get finishes off like that in high school and in college, but I recently started to understand that he is a gifted finisher who just finishes in a much different way than his former Duke University teammate Zion Williamson. You see, while Zion overpowers you in the lane, RJ Barrett will see what you're going for defensively and make the correct adjustment and contort his body to finish with finesse and a beautiful touch at the rim. And you'd be shocked at how successful he is at doing that. You guys could call me crazy, but I actually prefer this type of play style over Zion Williamson's play style, and I'll tell you why. Of course, Zion Williamson's athleticism is way harder to come by. And of course, his finishing ability is way more effective and way more consistent. However, RJ Barrett's brand of basketball is significantly more sustainable than Zion's. Now, this is something I also said about LeBron James about 10 years ago. Once that athleticism goes away, LeBron's going to have some trouble trying to get what he wants inside the paint. But LeBron has been able to incorporate new techniques in order to sustain his style of play throughout the years. Zion might be able to as well. However, RJ Barrett's is timeless. The way RJ Barrett is finishing now is something that he could build onto for the future, and he probably won't ever have to change the way he finishes at the rim. Plus, the fact that he is not always crashing and trying to overpower other defenders means there's a significantly smaller chance that he ever gets injured. Something that I would want in my future franchise cornerstone that I drafted with a top 3 pick. A legitimate concern I have is about how effective RJ Barrett could be as an ISO scorer. You can see over here, he is able to isolate on a Wizards defender that I'm not really familiar with, so I don't even know if this is someone that's going to make it to the roster or not, and if it is, then you guys could make fun of me in the comment section, but I'm not familiar with that player at all. And you can see he's isolating on him, and he's able to easily get what he wants, doing his crafty finish at the rim. However, once he gets to the actual NBA season, I'm very curious to see how effective of a means of scoring this is for him. And if that is the case, what could we expect from him in a half-court set? Something I must admit that I'm very impressed with is RJ Barrett's confidence when it comes to shooting the three. It looks like it's a skill that he's relentlessly working on, and it's a shot that's been falling for him during the preseason. And this is very important to RJ Barrett's game, because if he's able to keep these three-pointers going in consistently, then he will be able to open up the rest of his game. Those drive and kick opportunities will open up for him. That ability to drive into the basket and somehow get a layup to go by contorting his body is going to happen for him. And he's shown a great ability to draw fouls already. So it's very, very promising to see RJ Barrett hit his threes, because I feel like this is the make or break aspect of his game. If he's not able to get threes to consistently fall, then he'll forever be a fringe all-star or a player that would be good off the bench as a scorer. But if he's able to consistently have that three-pointer falling in, he could be one of the best scorers in the NBA. This final note has more to do with the New York Knicks as opposed to RJ Barrett. Originally, I was fairly concerned about the setting and scene that RJ was going to go into, because it's the New York Knicks and they don't really have a knack for developing talent. Of course, they hit on Porzingis, which I consider to be an outlier. I don't know if you could call Frank Ntilikina a hit or a miss. They seem to have found gems in Mitchell Robinson and Kevin Knox. So from a player development aspect, I was always fairly concerned. but I'm incredibly impressed by the way David Fizdale decides to use RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. Utilizing Julius Randle as the primary ball handler who finds RJ Barrett in wide open spaces and in good situations to allow him to score. Whether that's wide open shots from the three-point line or mid-range, or this beautiful cut to the basket by RJ, either one could be successful in this New York Knicks offense, and I feel like that's the best way to utilize Julius Randle because I see this thirst in Julius to become a better facilitator in the open court. I've covered his ability to actually handle the ball very well over the summer, and it's been a primary emphasis of his game for quite some time. So I'm really excited to see how this works in the regular season, and I'm hoping it's very effective, because that's probably the best way to utilize a developing RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. Now guys, if you made it to the end of this video, hit me with the I took flight up in the comment section down below so I can respond to your comment or show you some love. And also take a minute and vote on the next player that you want me to do this series on. So far we've done Zion Williamson, Lonzo Ball, RJ Barrett, Russell Westbrook and James Harden, Markelle Fultz, and Ja Morant. So if there's anyone that you want me to do whatsoever, let me know in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy TheFlightMike, and I'll catch you guys in our next video.